So welcome to all the BSc first year students for second semester second. Yesterday we have discussed regarding the life cycle of Lycopodium. So today I am going to revise the same things yesterday, whatever the things we have studied in yesterday regarding Lycopodium. So here while discussing the life cycle of Lycopodium, first of all you have to give the classification or systematic position of Lycopodium, then occurrence, where it occurs. There are about 400 species which are cosmopolitan in their distribution throughout in the world. In India, about 33 species have been recognized. They are distributed in tropical and subtropical area of India. So they are again terrestrial, which is the common name of Mars. It is called commonly known as Mars club. Then there are what are the different species, which are the common species of Lycopodium in India. Then external characteristics. After occurrence, external characteristics, that is stem, root and leaf. What type of stem is there, what type of roots are there, what type of leaves are there. Then strobilus. So then after that you have to be describe internal characteristics of stem, root and leaf of Lycopodium. Here you have to remember a very important point, that is what type of stele is there. Whether it is a protostele, cyphrostele, actinostele or mixed stele. Then after that you have to describe reproduction or multiplication, vegetative, asexual and sexual method, reproduction by spores, sporangia, strobilus. Here while describing the strobilus or cone of Lycopodium, you have to take the vertical section of the strobilus, then main axis. On that main axis, on both the abaxial side, adaxial side of main axis, there is a presence of sporophylls. On the inner side of each sporophyll, there is a presence of sporangium. That is, this is the main axis. So this is the sporophyll. This is the sporangium. Main axis, a central axis. On both the side, here also there is a presence of. On both the side there is a presence of sporangium of main axis. Each sporangium is having a mass of tissue, spore mother cells, which divides meiotically, gives rise to a number of around non-flagellated structure, that is the spores, which are haploid one. On the maturity, these sporangium burst open and there is a release of spores. When they fall on a suitable substratum, they germinates and gives rise to a flat body where there is a beginning of gametophytic phase of Lycopodium. On that gametophytic plants, again there is a formation of male reproductive body, that is Antheridium, and female reproductive body, that is Archegonium. Antheridium produces anthrozoids and Archegonium produces egg. Then again where there is a fusion of male and female gametes, that process is known as fertilization. From that zygote, again there is a formation of a new Lycopodium plants. In between these phase, from the germination of zygote, there is a formation of protonema. From that again there is a formation of new sporophytic plants of Lycopodium. Likewise, there will be a continuation of life cycle of Lycopodium. Similarly, today we are going to discuss a new example. There is another example which is mentioned for your syllabus in pteridophytes, that is Selaginella. Spelling is Sellaginella, Selaginella. Here, here also you have to be described a complete life cycle of Selaginella. Complete life cycle of Selaginella. While explaining the Selaginella, life cycle of Selaginella, you have to be first of all give the systematic position of Selaginella. Before going to be stepwise description of Selaginella, there is classification, occurrence, morphology, external characteristics or morphological characteristics, then internal characteristics. While describing the internal characteristic, there is TS of stem, TS of root, TS of rhizome, rhizophore, then roots, leaf, strobilus or cole, etc. Then reproduction. Today I have to be discuss overall important points which are belongs to Selaginella. Selaginella is one of the most important living genus of order Selaginellines or class Ligulopsida. Ligulopsida. Class Ligulopsida, order Selaginellines, family Selaginellaceae and genus Selaginella. Just have to be remember certain important points. While describing the occurrence, it is one of the most biggest genus, consists of a number of species, near about 700 species occur throughout in the world. They are cosmopolitan in their distribution. In India, eastern and western Himalayan regions consist of many species of Selaginella. And for example, in case of Maharashtra and Mahabaleshwar and Ratnagiri, most of the areas covered with it prefers to grow in tropical areas, tropical moist areas. So there are certain species of Selaginellas are there which are xerophytic in condition, which are grow in xerophytic in condition. They are known as xerophytic species of Selaginella. Xerophytic species of Selaginella. That is the important points. While explaining the external characteristics of plant body of Selaginella, stem is evergreen and weak one. Stem is evergreen. The plant itself is evergreen. Stem is weak. Monopodial branching, and the leaves are slightly developed with a single midrib. There is no branches, reticulate venation. Then whether they are arranged in a spirally arranged or alternate, different parts of the plant body have a different structural position of leaves on the stem. From the stem at the dichotomous branching, a negatively geotropic structure which are colorless without leaf, they are known as rhizophores. From that rhizophores, whenever these rhizophores touches to the soil, from that there is a development of adventitious roots. And another important characteristics of Selaginella is at the base of each leaves there is a presence of a tongue-like structure, a small structure which is present at the base of each leaf, that is known as a ligule. Still there is no clear-cut idea regarding the function of ligule. So therefore the class itself is named as Ligulopsida. Ligule. Ligule is present in the Selaginella. Then another important characteristics of Selaginella is the heterosporic nature. The heterosporic nature is an important characteristics. Heterosporic means there is a presence of megasporangium, megasporophyll, Megasporophyll contains megasporangium and microsporophylls contains microspores. So while taking the longitudinal section of the strobelus and cone of Selaginella, we will find at the base of half portion of the cone on the main axis, central axis of the strobelus is having megasporophylls. Uppermost part of the strobelus contains microsporophylls along with microsporangium. So that is the heterosporic nature. Heterosporic nature is an important, or it is an evolutionary important points in case of Selaginella. Presence of heterosporic nature is an evolutionary trends towards the higher plants. So that is the important characteristics of Selaginella, heterosporic nature. That is due to the presence of megasporophylls and microsporophylls, megasporangium and microsporangium, megaspores and microspores. So that is one of the important points. While describing the internal characteristics of stem and leaf, here another important characteristics is there is a presence of trabeculae, air chambers, and in each stem there is a presence of more than 2 steels, whether it is monostele or bistele. More than 2 steels, and the steels are connected with trabeculae, radially arranged along with a structure is known as trabeculae, and there is a presence of air chambers. That is another important characteristics. Protostele or siphonostele or actinostele. Most of the species of Selaginella are protostele in nature. Protostele in nature. There are, while discussing the cortex or epidermis, pericycle or endodermis, again there is a variation when you observe in different species or in the same plants at different parts of the same plants. We will find different types of there is variation of stele, variation of cortex. So there are some cases there is a presence of sclerenchymatous layer, parenchymatous layers or cholenchymatous layers in cortex. Therefore it may be differentiated into inner cortex and outer cortex. Inner cortex and outer cortex. So these are some of the important features, important points of Selaginella. For example, in case of while asking the questions as a MCQs, just you have to remember there will be a question arises whether the species of Selaginella having a ligules or not, ligules are whether they present in the Selaginella or not. Then another important point is their locality, xerophatic in nature. What is the xerophatic nature? Which are the xerophatic species of Selaginella? Then strobelus, whether it is a heterosporic nature. They will be asked the question in heterosporic nature. Then trabeculae, air chambers, and types of stele. So this is regarding important points. Then after describing the strobelus, internal characteristics of Selaginella, stem, root and leaf, ligule, then you have to go through to the multiplication or reproduction in case of Selaginella. While describing the reproduction or how the gametophytic phase will be starts, which is the gametophytic phase and the structure of gametophytic plants of Selaginella, then that gametophytic plants, what is the structure of Anthridium and Archegonium, then anthrozoids, egg, then there is a process of fertilization, zygote. From that zygote, again there is a formation of a new sporophytic plant of Selaginella. So this is regarding the complete life cycle of Selaginella. So here, first of all, here while describing the Selaginella, these are some of the important points while explaining the Silaginella, that is external characteristics, internal characteristics, strobilus, and then ligules, then heterospore nature. All these things are very important one. With this, today I am going to conclude this lecture. Tomorrow I am going to be describe in details regarding the classification, occurrence, external characteristics, internal characteristics of Silaginella, and after that the third example which is mentioned for your syllabus, that is equisetum. Equisetum is there. After that equisetum, the last one is Marsilia, and after that Marsilia, we are going to be discuss regarding the types of Stelian Pteridophyta. Types of Stelian Pteridophyta, then general economic importance of Pteridophyta and general characteristics already we have discussed. So with this, there will be conclusion, there will be completion of syllabus of this paper, that is Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Okay, thank you. One and all.